Hello, this is the main video tutorial for Lab 5. I'm pretty tired, so all the content will be here, but I am not going to put the time in I normally do to editing out, mistakes, things I say and have to retake and stuff. Okay, so here we go. The first thing I recommend you do is look at the overview document because it lists the various docs, image files, and videos, and the order I suggest that you look at them in to make your life easier and make it less likely that you make a mistake and waste time. It will save you time. This lab is not about music. It's about learning not just the modular and how to patch it, but how the controls interact and what they do. This is really important if you think about it. All of you are upper level students. So at this point, you have an idea when you sit down with Pro Tools or a plugin or a console what the controls are doing so you can work. When you started, you probably didn't know that or nearly as much. I'm trying to take you from not probably knowing much to a lot quickly. If you follow the directions, it will work. In spite of this being the main video for the lab, it's not at all about the modular. That's all in the written document, and particularly the XLS patch sheet. This is to show you how you set up Digital Performer, record MIDI into it, record audio into it, so I have something to grade. Also at the end of this, besides showing you all of that, I'll show you an example of a previous project so you have a visual idea of what your project should roughly sort of look like. So let's get going. You're going to create a MIDI track, assign it to the TR8, and enter a very simple drum beat and repeat that for 32 bars. So I have something to listen to. It only just has to be real simple. I'm using the TR8 because I haven't assigned it before. It's super simple. Couple of things to show you about it before we start. That's not true. After I create the track, create a session, name it whatever I say to in this assignment right there. Do that. So I think you create a track, assign it to the TR8. And where is it? It's in here. I'm tired. Okay, channel 10. I don't know what channel 3 is in there. No clue. I'll take that out later. Name it. Drums. Hit some keys. Now, I'll show you how this happened. I hit keys. No sound. The transpose, octave transpose on the mini log was too high. You have to put it next to the lowest. Now, a couple of quick notes about the TR8. If you don't want to know anything about the TR8, you can skip ahead. Okay, the TR8, you're not going to use the internal clock. Do not press start or stop. The tempo is irrelevant. You're using it as a sound source only. Kick, snare, various drums, hat, kick, and snare is fine. These change the sound. If you don't like the particular kick sound that you have, you might be able to find different ones. Simply press pattern select. The display will look different. All of these will go out and only one will be lit. And again, hit one, hit pattern 2, pattern 3, and one might have a 909 kick, one might have an 808 kick, or 909 kick with an 808 snare, on and on. You can do that if you want. And only because I love you guys. I just want to show you something. I went and found this for you. You can't read it on the video, but it's here, and I'll make sure you have it. This is all of the continuous controller numbers that adjust every single one of these controls. So you can actually sequence changes to these. And not only that, but yes, it's true. I love you even more. I went and found this. Go into reference manuals, Roland, TR8 folder. It's all there. So, make a simple MIDI drum beat. I don't care what. Set the tempo to 80. Look, one thing. Be patient with me. I will refer to this here and there. Anything that I miss in the video, you need to do if it's written in here. So, follow this with the video as a guide for overall what you should do and how to enter the notes and what it should look like. I'm just going to put in a quick MIDI drum beat here. So I only recorded 2 bars. That's plenty. Then copy it, and you know what it says in there. Do what it says. Give me 32. So we got 2 becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16, becomes 32. Boom, boom, boom. Drums are done. Okay, check this out of record, hit save, and we'll just shrink this down, and that's a little loud here, so we'll calm that down a little bit better. Okay, guys, so now we're here at 3. You need to create another MIDI track for the modular to play notes for you, so you don't have to play those notes. So create a MIDI track. Give me a different color. Please name it correctly. Mod MIDI. And assign it to the modular. Now, and it comes up record enabled. Because I've been working on this, I already have the patch up, so when I hit a key, you'll hear, you won't. You'll hit a key and you just see the red gate light over there. So now at this point, you work down here through these instructions, read them. Go to the XLS patch sheet, take your time. Set all that up, then come back and we're going to enable audio capture. Okay, now you've got sound. So with that record enabled track, now you should be able to hit a key on the mini log, send MIDI over to there, and it's playing. So now create an audio track, mono, Command Shift A, give me something different. Incorrectly, mono audio 1. Notice this is coming up in italics and grayed out. It looks like it's not seeing the interface. It actually is, so just do that. And guys, I had a problem with this. It wasn't seeing the interface even after a bunch of stuff I did. I made a troubleshooting video. It's in the tutorials folder. So now, if I hit a key, MIDI goes through, plays the synth. I push mute on channel 2. I don't hear it anymore. It's showing up. It's showing up. I put this into input. So now I can hear it. Now, what you need to do is tune. Doop, doop. Time to tune. And then come back and the meat here, I'll show you exactly what to enter. It's quick and easy. So go tune and come back. Okay, now you're in tune. And yours might sound different than that because you will have made the settings on the XLS sheet and I didn't. Just have the sound up. So what you need to do now is record the MIDI in. That will play that, and this is really easy, but you need to be very precise here. I find it easiest to step enter. What you're going to do is a single note, repeat it over and over. I've got the mini log at the middle octave lit up, and I'm playing low notes. Now what you do is with this MIDI track and record, you hit Command 8, step enter comes up, go to 16th. Remember, the enter key puts in rests. You're going to enter one note once, then 3 rests, and then repeat that 7 more times. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now you have 2 bars of that. Come to a quarter note and just go note, rest, 4 times like. Then what you do is copy that once. So now I have 8 measures that sound like this. Okay. Put it back in record, come back to step enter. You need to start at bar 9, beat 1. This is wicked easy. Go to whole note and enter that same note once. You're done with step enter. Now all you do is you edit that. So with the quarter notes set there, you just extend that a half note. So it's a whole plus a half. It's a bar and a half a bar rest. Then what you do is you just copy and paste that 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You're now done with MIDI. So let's go to bar 1, shrink the, okay, so that's 16. That's exactly what you should have, okay? Take this out of record, and now you're ready to go to the next step. And that next step is you're going to loop the first 8 bars, and then while it plays over and over, you're going to make the adjustments. These are the controls you're going to adjust, these 7 controls, and from here down to here, next part, practice this. This is really easy. There's not a lot. It just says turn these knobs while that's playing the notes for you. That's why I printed it out, so you don't have to keep wheeling over and looking at the screen on the computer. So to loop, it's very simple. Period, number, enter takes you to where you need to loop 1 to bar 9, beat 1. The start time is already at 1, so I'm going to go period, 9, enter, F2. That enters the value here. So F1 enters the start time, F2 enters the stop. That's the memory cycle. Memory is now on. One quick thing to be aware of. when you start memory cycling and you go from 1 to 9, if you're at 9 and you hit play, it's going to move on. So just be aware of that. Now that that's looped, just play it. And while it's playing, practice this stuff. Practice it a bunch. Then when you've practiced it enough, come down to the second purple highlight and hit 7 to turn the memory cycle off. You don't have to, but, and then go period 9, enter F1, period 17, enter F2. And now you're looping 9 to 17. Also, if you got the auto return on, it's going to auto return to this. So this will always return to bar 9. So now with that playing over and over, rehearse this. This is as important or more because this is having you change the envelope generator settings. Please put the time in to do that and read what this says. Then you'll understand and you'll know. After you've practiced all of that enough that you can do it for all 16 bars, you're going to turn the loop off. You capture the audio. That's the next part. So before you capture, you want to set your levels, but before that, you want to turn off your loop. Don't want this looping. And notice your start time is still at bar 9, so hit period 1, enter F1, reset start time to 1, no loop. What you're going to do is put it into record and capture all 16 bars, but before you do, good idea to set levels. Now, you don't want this in the record so that anything you do on the mini log is recording MIDI, but you have to turn this back on temporarily for it to send the MIDI to trigger the synth so you can check your level. So you bring up your audio monitor, plenty of level. Now, take this out of record, because if you don't, and if you haven't turned on overdub, it's going to erase the mod MIDI as it plays, okay? Turn that off. Now you are ready to capture. Remembering that while this is recording, you're going to be over there turning knobs. Turn on the 2-bar count off at a tempo of 80. It gives you plenty of time. I am not attempting to reproduce exactly the knob settings that you have. I don't know what they are. I don't care. I'm just going to show you how much time you have. I'm in record, 2-bar count off without a metronome, so it'll be silent. I hit 3 to put it in record. It's recording audio right now, or it's in the count off. And now I'm over here ready to turn knobs. Okay, I wheeled over while this part was recording, so it's not changing at all. And I just recorded all that, so this is, I'll show you an example at the end of this. This is how long it should be. Now what you're going to do is take this out of record, mute it so you don't hear it, create a similar track, name it Mod Audio 2. All the same settings, don't have it muted, put it into input, put it in record, hit a note to see if it's playing. Oh, and you have to hit record. Okay. Now, what you do is you record another pass, but before you do, you come to Mod MIDI and you put in the transpose plugin. Don't go too far. You know, I don't know, perfect fifth up or down, whatever you want. So I'm just going to go up a major second. So now, when it plays, oh, count off. All right, I just didn't enter it correctly. So now it's playing a different pitch. Now you make another capture. Again, turning knobs slightly differently. And then you'll end up with another file here. Here's a quick note for you. Please do not, during this capture, be going crazy with the knobs. If you want to do that for your own edification, just create new takes and then don't have it be take 1. Or identify the take in the project notes that you want me to grade, okay? So let's say that you had done that. You'd recorded a second pass with the transpose plugin, and slightly different knob settings, and it would be down here, and I'm just doing that so I don't have to take the time to go and record it. So this is what your project would roughly look like. Take this out of record, take this out of mute. Now you're almost completely done here. All you do is slide the second one up, and the way you throw things in Digital Performers, hold down Control, then click on this, then move it in the direction you want to throw, and let go. Okay? So literally, this project is done. You can leave it the way it is, or you can delete that track if you want. Now, here's an example of what a former project looks like that shows me visually that the student was following directions. Okay, so here's a previous student project, which is pretty good. It's not particularly brilliant or bad, and the thing is it can't be brilliant because it's not music. This is you showing me that you know how to swing the bat, or you know how to turn the knob. So this is what gets graded, guys. So let me show you what I'm looking for. Look at this. First of all, simple drum beat. I made them enter a patch change. They weren't using the TR-8. Interesting. For the MIDI, he used different notes, and he entered. I made them do 32 bars. Getting soft in my old age. So we don't need the second audio track. So for the ease of looking at this, now here's what I want you to notice. I can just visually look and see difference in attack times and release times. I can see that the knobs are changing, and I do listen. Look at that. I can see this is, whoops, sorry guys. You can see the difference in the attack. And then again here, and this will be a little bit different. I don't just go on visual, I do listen to it. And that's good. That shows me that it's changing. The knobs are changing. If I wasn't so tired, I would go get an example of a project not done correctly, and I do see these. If I look at these waveforms and they just all start perfectly like this and end perfectly, and then they all look the same, which I see sometimes, you're not turning the knobs. That's a major deduction, like major, okay? So you have an idea now of what that looks like. And now finally, something I recommend you do is communicate with me. Good, bad, or indifferent. And you don't have to. If everything goes fine, you have no questions, and you're cool, and you don't have to. But if you want to communicate, you could write me a note. You could also do what I'm doing right now. You could go, I can't go configure recording for ScreenFlow, but you could make a capture and then just delete the actual screen of the Mac from your capture and just export the camera. Or you could go into configure recording and set it to only record the camera. Talk to me, tell me. That's what I'm looking for. Guys, there you go.